Welcome to our channel on near-death experiences, NDEs. We'll explore stories of people who've been on the brink between life and death, returning with new perspectives. These accounts offer a unique glimpse into existence, life's meaning, and the universe. Each video is a journey through transformative experiences and spiritual discovery. We're creating a space of understanding and sharing for these extraordinary stories. Whether you're here out of curiosity or seeking comfort, we hope to bring you peace and awareness. Join us on this journey of spiritual exploration. Every moment is an opportunity to grow and love. Thank you for being here with us.
In March 1978, a man awoke lying on a bed, confused and disoriented. Moments before, he remembered being severely injured in a car accident. His body mutilated and his left hand detached. However, looking at himself, he noticed that his body was intact. The details of the accident were rapidly fading from his memory, leaving him with the sensation of having lived through a traumatic experience that he could no longer clearly remember. Shocked and perplexed, the man realized that 12 hours had passed since the accident he remembered. It was as if he had been transported through time and space. He got up from the bed and ran into the living room, asking his mother for explanations. She, as confused as he was, insisted that he must have had a bad dream. The man, however, was convinced that what he had experienced was real, too vivid to be just an oniric illusion. He described the injuries he remembered sustaining in graphic detail, insisting that his body had been split in half, with his legs separated from his torso. He recalled desperately trying to hold his intestines in with the stump of his left arm. He couldn't understand how it was possible to repair such severe damage in so little time, nor how the ambulance could have found him in the middle of a cotton field miles from the city. His mother continued to deny that anything had happened, but the man didn't give up. He ran outside to check his car, which he remembered as destroyed in the accident. To his great surprise, he found it parked in the driveway, perfectly intact and gleaming as if it had just left the showroom. The car was so immaculate that it seemed to shine with a supernatural light. The man meticulously inspected the vehicle, searching in vain for traces of the accident he remembered. After an hour of discussion with his mother, the man came to the conclusion that he must have had a serious accident months before, been in a coma while his body was repaired, and that everyone around him was trying to protect him from bad memories by pretending nothing had happened. It was the only logical explanation his mind could formulate. In the days that followed, the man tried to talk about what had happened with friends and family, but everyone denied there had been an accident or a coma. He had the constant feeling that they were hiding something from him. He learned that a friend of his had committed suicide on the same road where he remembered having the accident, but strangely, he couldn't remember who this friend was. He decided to take some family members and friends to the site of the accident. They found signs of an impact in the ditch and damage to the cotton field, but no trace of metal debris. Someone suggested that he was trying too hard for a tasteless prank. As the weeks passed, more memories of the accident surfaced in his mind. He remembered being thrown from the car and finding himself naked next to the wreckage. He saw his car completely destroyed, reduced to a ball of twisted metal. It was at that moment that he realized he was dead. Suddenly, he heard the sound of wild creatures approaching, growling and laughing like hyenas. Terrified, he cried out to God and began to rise towards the sky. During this ascent, he remembered that he had to save a friend trapped on the other side of death. He insisted on going back and facing those evil creatures in order to reach his friend. A voice told him that the friend was already with him, and turning, he saw that he was indeed carrying him on his shoulders. He continued his upward journey until he reached an intense light, which he described as a laser show perceptible with all senses. When he reached a certain level, he immersed himself completely in that light. In the months that followed, the man told everyone about his journey to heaven. People asked him about the friend he had saved, but he couldn't remember his identity. He could only remember hearing his voice and feeling his shoulder against his own. Many noticed a significant change in him after this experience, describing him as a different person in the same body. He continued to tell his story of death and return to life, But no one believed him until 1988. That year, the man had another minor accident that took him to the hospital. He woke up again with 12 hours missing from his memory. The doctor who examined him found traces of extraordinary surgery in his body, as if he had been severely mutilated and then miraculously put back together. The internal scars were consistent with the damage from a high-speed car accident. The doctor wanted to make the case public, but the man asked him to wait until 1999, following a sort of spiritual indication received in his dreams. The man remembers having another NDE during the 1988 accident. A paramedic told him he had been without vital signs for 26 minutes and had only resuscitated him because he heard him talking while he was out of his body. Now the man also believes in reincarnation. During both NDEs, he was promised that his friend would return to life in a new body. He waited 21 years for this friend to grow up, convinced that they would find each other again, as the bond between them was so strong that it transcended life, death, space, time, and matter. The man says there is still much to tell about this story and is working to write down all the details, as he was told to do during his NDEs. He denies having taken drugs or substances that could have influenced the experience. He describes the difficulty of translating the experience into words, as communication beyond the veil of light occurred without the use of conventional language. During the NDEs, he experienced the separation of consciousness from the body, heard unusual sounds like a harmony never heard before, passed through a tunnel of light, and met two celestial beings whom he perceived as old friends. He also experienced a review of his past life, during which he jokingly asked for popcorn. He learned how a person's actions reverberate through the lives of others, experiencing the consequences of widespread anger and hatred. The man claims to have acquired knowledge about future personal events, but doesn't remember information about world events. The experience profoundly changed his attitude towards life, freeing him from depression and giving him a renewed sense of hope. He has shared his experience with many, especially after the 1988 accident, when there were numerous witnesses who saw his apparent death and subsequent return to life. Everyone encouraged him to write his story, which he promised to do one day, as requested by the beings he encountered during the NDE. The predominant emotions after the experience were joy, harmony, smiling, and peace. The best part was being able to share what happened with others, while the worst was facing people's doubt and disbelief. The man concludes by saying that there is much more to tell and he is trying to put it in writing, but finds it difficult to fully express the spiritual experience through physical language, comparing the attempt to passing an elephant through the front door of a house.
If you enjoyed this video or you're interested in the topics we cover on this channel, I'd be really grateful if you could subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. Share the video with someone you think might appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Preface: near-death experiences, NDEs, can be profound, life-changing events. Remember, NDEs are subjective experiences, not proof of an afterlife or a guide for living. Channel purpose: this channel shares NDE stories and information, providing a platform for open discussion without promoting specific beliefs. Disclaimer: this content doesn't replace professional medical or psychological advice. If struggling with mental health issues, seek professional help immediately. If you've had an NDE and need support, consult a therapist experienced with NDEs. We don't promote suicide or self-harm. If considering suicide, contact a prevention lifeline immediately. Suicide prevention resources: National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. Crisis text line, text HOME to 741741. Conclusion: we hope you find this channel informative. For questions, please contact us. Remember, suicide prevention is crucial. If you're struggling, seek help. You're not alone.